We are here with Coach Hoiberg. I'll start with Robin Washit.
Hey, Fred, with the problems your team is having shooting right now, how do you balance adjusting to fix what they're struggling with while also like still doing what you want to do offensively? More specifically, like, have you considered at all slowing things down, maybe reducing the tempo to try and have more set plays to create even higher percentage looks? Or are you just going to kind of ride this thing out and continue to have that identity that you ultimately want?
Yeah, well, first of all, Happy New Year to all you guys. Hope everybody's doing well. As far as we've talked about it, absolutely. You look at our numbers. Obviously, we're not shooting the ball very well. We're not shooting it well at all right now, and assisted turnover for the year is basically 1-to-1, and that's just not good enough. That's not going to win many games when you're shooting the ball like we are and turning the ball over like we are with low assist totals. So we've talked about putting in a whole new set, a simple set that has more structure to it and more control on who we get the ball to. That all being said, we had 19 open threes, what we consider open shots from the three-point line in the last game, and we made 4 of them. We had 7 that we consider semi-contested, meaning a late contest, and a couple of the guys we had shooting them, we like those guys shooting the ball. So, to me, this game is so much about confidence. When you have it, you're on top of the world. When you don't, that rim looks like a little thimble up there, and that's what it looks like to a lot of our guys right now. Again, I've talked about the work ethic of our players. They come in, they'll all be in tonight to get extra looks, extra shots, and it's all about hopefully having a game where we see it go in the hole, and that all of a sudden changes the mindset of our players and completely flips the confidence. A lot of it with our guys are playing with low confidence right now. So we just, sometimes it's as simple as that, Robin. You got to find a way to put that thing in the hole, get it behind you, understand you can do it, you see it happen, and then you're off and running. And hopefully we start making them soon. But yes, as far as to answer your initial question, we've talked a lot about that. But at the same time, when you create 19 open threes, you got to knock them down. You got to be able to find a way to stay mentally tough if you've missed a couple and have the attitude that you're going to knock the next one down.
Steve Sipple.
Happy New Year, Fred. Kind of going off of Robin's question, if the threes aren't falling, what becomes most important in your offense to sort of compensate for those threes not falling?
Well, obviously we don't have a big post threat right now that we can throw the ball to when we're not making our threes. Even on the rim, the rim rolls on our pick and roll where we get it into the paint, some of that's leading to open threes, some of it's leading to plays at the rim. We were 8 for 19 at the rim the other night. That's, again, when you miss threes like we did and you're not finishing at a very high percentage at the rim, that's not a very good recipe. You're going to score, in the low 50s, which we've done the last 2 games, and you're not going to win many ball games. We get our paint touches a lot of times with the roll man. We've got a guy in Derek that's got one more game to sit, who is arguably our best finisher in the paint. Teddy's a guy that we can throw it to, but he's been settling a little bit lately off the block as opposed to trying to get deep position. Delano's a guy that we need to get it to more within the flow of our offense in the post. So we've got a few things, that we can get it down there. Now it's about making the right decision, and it's about finishing. But when you don't shoot well and you don't finish well, you're going to struggle to score.
So, based on what you've said, you've had open shots, you've had shots at the rim. Is there danger in your shoes of overreacting to a loss like what occurred at Ohio State?
I mean, that's the other thing. The knee-jerk reaction to a butt kicking is, okay, we got to change everything we're doing. And I know everybody goes through that when you have a performance like we did the other night. To me, the thing that really bothered me about last game is we quit defending. We quit, going out there and trying to match their physicality. And that's when the thing just blew open. We had a stretch. It was a 12-point game. We missed a layup, missed the putback, missed the front end of a 1-and-1, and missed a wide open, one of those where you can eat a sandwich and then shoot it, threes, and all of a sudden now it could have been 5. We had 3 good stops in a row, and then ultimately, after not seeing that thing go through the hoop, the human nature is you don't have the same energy defensively. We have to keep our defensive energy. That's kept us in games where we haven't shot well. It kept us in the Michigan game. It kept us in the Wisconsin game for the most part. It kept us in for a big portion of the Creighton game. The last game was the first time I really thought the energy was not where it needed to be able to compete in a Big Ten game against a ranked team. And that's what we're going to face all year. And, this group has been pretty resilient for the most part on that end of the floor. We just got to find a way to manufacture some offense and make some shots. Thank you.
Sam McEwen?
I guess I'll ask about Michigan State. I mean, what's wrong with them? Because they're not the team that we would have expected to see this year. They've lost 2 games by more than 25 points. So what are you seeing on tape, and what team do you think is going to come in? I know you know a little bit more about them than you would other teams because your son's on it.
Yeah, they're coming off a very similar performance to what we are with the game at Minnesota. And, I know one thing, with having a week to prepare, I can promise you what they have been going through probably isn't real easy and isn't a lot of fun. But, I know looking at Izzo's past, they lost 3 in a row last year at one point, and then they got it right, and they were one of the best teams in the country at the end of the year. You also understand they lost a really close game to Wisconsin. They lost a really close game to Northwestern, and then they lost handily to Minnesota. And that's what our league is. Our league is so good, you have to be on point every time you step on the floor to have a chance to win. And, coming off, a week, and the other thing is you get rid of, arguably the best point guard in the country last year in Cassius Winston, Xavier Tillman, who was the heart and soul of that team, a big part of their Final Four run, both those guys the year before. And, now you're trying to plug in pieces and players without much of a summer, without much of a fall, and then you lose 5 non-conference games. So, they're working some of their stuff out on the fly like we are. And that's just the reality when you have as many new faces without a lot of the early season opportunities that you would normally get to work out the kinks. So, it's for them, they're going to be right there at the end. They always are. And they generally go through a stretch like this. They have the last couple years when they've been one of the best in the nation at the end of the season. They've also had some big wins. I mean, you look at some of those early season wins that they had at Duke, some of the other ones that they had early. I mean, this is a very, very good basketball team with a lot of talent, and they're working through some things like we are and like a lot of the other teams in the country are right now. But the teams that have a prideful group, I know they do, I know we do, you keep battling, and hopefully the switch will flip, and you can get on a roll.
Do you think teams will try to go to school on Ohio State's tape and just, try to shove you around and be physical the way they were? Because, they got away with some things in that game, too. So do you think other teams will try to do that?
Well, I think some of it is it's the makeup of your group. That's who Ohio State is. That's what makes them who they are. And we talked about that in the 2 days we had to prepare, that you got to be ready for a physical battle with them. And, you got to bring your hard hat to that game. If you don't, you're going to get exactly what happened to us. So, I think a lot depends on the makeup of the group. Michigan State is a physical basketball team. They've got skill, all over the floor with their perimeter guys, and they can take you inside as well. And that's, been the makeup of Tom Izzo's teams, going back 25 years, is they are tough, hard-nosed, fast, rebounding. So those are going to be big parts of our game plan. We have to get back in transition, and we have to battle them on the glass. If we do those two things, we will hopefully have a chance.
Kevin Sids?
Happy New Year, Fred. You guys played on Thanksgiving, you played on Christmas, and now here it's New Year's Day, and you're preparing for a game tomorrow. Does it even seem like a holiday to you guys today? And what does your schedule look like on a day like this?
Yeah, to answer your question, no, it really doesn't. I rang in the New Year, went going to bed at about 9:45 last night, just not sleeping much the previous 2 nights. So, we came in here early. We got our COVID testing done early, watched film with our players, and then went out and had a good, crisp, kind of walk-through type practice. We went really hard yesterday. After getting back at about midnight, we brought them in there, and, I told them, if we're not going to bring it in the game, we're going to get it out of you in practice. And they came in and they competed. So today we backed off, and they're sore. They're ornery, as we all are right now when you go through what we're going through. But, we felt that was the best thing to do yesterday because we didn't guard the ball. We didn't close out with urgency. We didn't battle their posts the way we needed to. So we tried to simulate all that in a practice, shortly after we got back at midnight. So today was all about trying to get them back, have a good mental day. We still did go up and down a little bit, but just try to prepare them and keep them fresh so we can go out there and hopefully have our legs. So, it's to answer your question, does it feel like a holiday? No, none of them have to this point. When you play on the holidays like we have with Thanksgiving, Christmas, and now New Year's, you just try to stick with the task at hand and get your team prepared to go out and play, which I give our guys credit. It's such an unusual year, and you're playing on holidays. Normally you're spending with your families. I give our guys credit for preparing the right way and going out and doing everything we're asking of them right now in a very difficult time.
So think about 3 more. I got Jacob Padilla.
With Derek's suspension almost coming to an end, how do you handle his practice reps as far as playing with the scout team versus kind of getting incorporated with the top units?
Yeah, we're still having him. He was on the scout team. We're doing extra work right now with Derek and some of the other guys, bringing them in either early or after practice, where we're getting them reps with our offense. And we obviously the last week we've gotten him a lot more reps with the guys that he's going to be playing with here, starting in our next game at Purdue. He's been phenomenal. Derek, the last year and a half, getting close to 2 years, has done everything we've asked him to do. And, he had the disappointment of what he thought going into the season. He would either have a short suspension or no suspension. And then, basically it was the same as it would have been in a normal year. So he struggled with that early, but, he's really getting excited about getting back out there. Now, we can't expect Derek to come back the minute he steps on the floor, and all of a sudden now everything changes because we have Derek Walker back. It's going to take him some time sitting as long as he has to get his timing right, to get his conditioning right. But he will help. There's no question, because of his ability to finish and give us a threat in the paint. And, we're all excited to get him out there as coaches, and certainly his teammates are excited to get him back out there. But, it's going to take him a little time to get him to where he wants to be and where we need him to be.
Sipple?
Just Fred, quick follow, really simple one. How do you feel about your point guard play?
Well, yeah, I mean, you look at what Delano's done as far as numbers-wise. He's putting up really good numbers. He struggled in the last game, obviously, with his shooting. He had been shooting it at a pretty solid clip, for where he was in the past, and he's really worked hard at it. When he has an open one, we expect him to shoot it, and we expect him to make it. As far as our pace numbers, possession length is really good from where we want it. I think we're second in the nation right now in big schools in possession length. But, at times we don't come down with the organization maybe that we need. And again, I put that more on me. We had a guy sitting out in Delano last year and a guy, Trey, that played mostly off the ball his first 2 years at Pitt. And, Kobe is kind of the third guy that gives us minutes at the point as well. So, it's about coming down, recognizing, understanding where guys are. If somebody gets it going in the flow to try to get the ball back. We did a phenomenal job with Teddy in that, with the Michigan game, especially in that first half. But for the most part, with, having a guy that didn't play a year ago and having another guy that really hadn't had much experience at the point, I've been, for the most part, pleased with our point guards.
Thank you, Fred.
Thank you.
Last question, Robin Washington.
Hey, kind of speaking about the rotation, you guys played 9 guys, at least 7 minutes last time out, and then you're adding another one in a couple games with Derek. Ideally, do you eventually want to pare down that rotation to a certain number, or is that still very much in flux, just kind of given the nature of your roster right now?
Yeah, I mean, it's the hardest part of being a coach is distributing the minutes. You want to see every single guy on your roster be successful. And the reality with when you have 13 scholarship players, usually you play 8 or 9, and try to get everybody else to accept what their roles are, and if they get thrown into the game, go out and take advantage of it. What I saw leading into the Ohio State game, our second group, they were phenomenal, and they played great basketball, and I thought they deserved opportunity to be out there on the floor. And that's how it's going to continue to be. When we have disappointing, whether it's a loss or a disappointing effort, to get the guys that practice well opportunity, and then whoever plays best is going to be on the floor at the end. So, right now we've just got a group and everybody's, going out there and competing and fighting for those quality minutes, and then especially at the end of games. And we're still searching for who is the right group to be in there at the end. And really right now it's going to be the players that are producing and giving us the best chance.
Thank you, guys.